plot twist. We had to change the settings. Where was I? Oh yeah, the CGI. Yeah, sorry. Let me. Hopefully one day I'll get better at making these videos. I thought I had a pretty good start this time around, but anyway, yeah. Hopefully it'll be more polished. I'll be more comfortable in front of the camera. I did do this video a little different than the others because I want to go, we'll say, unscripted or whatever. But this time I wrote my thoughts down a little bit. And I might do that until I get, more focused and organized. But anyways, I'm pretty sure I left off with... Ah, crap, I grabbed the wrong piece of paper. Oops. The CGI, as far as bad things for the Justice League. And the Flash's goofy running was so... It's like, are we supposed to take that seriously? It's like... Oh, come on. But anyways, let me sit down, now that I got that out of the way. Alright. As we've all... if you're into these types of movies or the DCEU, we all know that it's been a very bumpy, controversial ride, and you've probably been part of the fan wars, defending Zack, defending the DCEU, whatever, and you're probably fatigued. Anyways, you probably know all that, and you probably also know that the studios don't give a not to freaking self-censor because my sister's subscribed now. Anyways, but the studios don't care about all that. They care more about money. Regardless of the creative process, I'm sure, yeah, they'd like to make a movie that's quality or whatever, and they'd like to get a positive reception, but ultimately, they want to make a movie that's bankable. So, all the complaining and all the negativity and just negative response, you can see has cowed the studios, and they've buckled under the weight and stress of all the BS. And this movie, to me, is a culmination of all the complaining. And like I said in the first video, because this is going to be a two-parter because of the stupid phone, can only take so much of my recording. We're already at 22%. Anyways, so what was I saying? Yeah, the studios have cowed to the people where it was just like pandering, and to me, a lot of the acting was phoning in, and as my sister said, this movie just didn't have the same heart as Man of Steel or Batman vs. Superman, and as I would say, it didn't have the depth. So it didn't take itself as seriously. It didn't take itself seriously. And it was almost as if they were grudgingly or forced to meet the demands of the audience. And it ended up creating problems which almost make the previous films invalid or incredulous. Some of the complaints. or one of the um, things people charge against Superman in general, but the movies is like, how does nobody know Clark's identity? And to me, it's like, why would they? The world is so big. He's not like he's doing PR and all these things. It's not like he's lingering and saving the same five people all the time where they get to know his face and all that. But then in the opening sequence, all of that logic gets thrown out the window when he's freaking being interviewed by some kids. Now, who knows? Maybe the kids don't have any subscribers like me. They might have 6 subscribers. And nobody sees the video. But regardless, the implication is he's stopping to talk to the people. And in this digital age, if the people are recording you and they're posting you, your face is getting out there. So it's like, why don't they know his identity if this is happening? And people are, oh, Superman doesn't smile. He's not happy-go-lucky. Henry Cavill got the brunt, to me, of all the pandering and all the phoning it in. His performance sucked. I mean, and I don't blame Henry. I blame you. Unless you think like me. If you think like me, then I don't blame you. But if you're the general public, I blame you. Because, well, in the previous movies, he's a full fleshed out person. All the complexities and emotions of a full fleshed out person. And in this movie, the movie as a whole, but Superman is checking off boxes. Did I call my mom Ma? Oh, because we all know that Ma Kent and Pa Kent is how they're identified in the old comics. Operative word being old. But Ma, did I call her Ma? Which would be fine if it happened organically, but it doesn't. And he comes back all of a sudden self-assured. He wasn't a super combatant before. He wasn't a fighter. He was saving people. He had super abilities. But all of a sudden now he's self-assured and flies in and one punches Steppenwolf and got these zingy one-liners. Oh, I believe in truth, but also justice. It's like, fucking people, why? So you can just see that you can see how manufactured the movie was and how they were trying to address all the complaints, and instead of what I wanted them to do, which was not blink, stay the course, and make a movie that they wanted to make, and make a movie that they believed in. And this, as far as I'm concerned, is not a Zack Snyder film. I'm happy he's getting credit or recognition, but I don't want recognition for this work. He should be getting recognition for Batman vs Superman, Man of Steel, his previous works. I I don't really have anything against Joss Whedon, but I think he definitely did a disservice to this. I think he was a pawn of the studio to work against the greater good of this film. And although I've heard complaints about the objectification and sexual aspects of this film, I mean, ultimately, it wasn't anything egregious where the way it seemed was like it's going to be really cheesecakey and just sexual objectification of Wonder Woman specifically, which I just didn't see it. They did show her butt a lot, but that's kind of the design of the uniform, which is from the comic book. But um, aside from the butt shots, which is showing everybody's butt, but if you're wearing a skirt, it's just a little bit more noticeable. um, I didn't really see any undue sexual objectification, especially specifically of women, because it's like if it's okay to show the beefcake, shirtless Superman, shirtless Aquaman, um, and that's permissible. How all of a sudden is it objectionable when you show an Amazonian midriff? Okay, you can see Superman's abs and his nipples, and that's fine. But you see an Amazonian's six pack, and oh, that's objectification. That's sexism. You're a sexist. You're definitely a sexist if you're thinking that type of thing. Oh, it's okay to show a man naked, but you show a woman naked, that's bad. You're sexist. Anyways, this is supposed to be about Justice League, and I don't have my notes. This is what happens when you don't have your notes. But yeah, overall, it was enjoyable, but I'm sad that it didn't have the depth or heart that it could have had. And I'm sad that it didn't have it because it was trying to acquiesce to all the complaining. As far as the specifics go, it had some cool moments, poorly executed, and the character development was lacking or undermined its previous movies. For instance, inserting jokes, which is fine, jokes are fine, but the way they executed them were either forced or poor, or they just were contrary to what has already been established. For instance, Batman was so he went from being Batfleck went from being the baddest motherfucker, the baddest MF around, and Batman versus Superman to just a generic superhero in this movie. It's like, all right, that Superman coming back from the dead scene was cool when he was fighting them. I mean, it could have been done better, and they could have lingered a little bit more, and it could have had more emotional resonance. But whatever, what we got is what we got. Anyways, and him grabbing Batman and saying, "Do you bleed?" as a callback to the first movie where he was threatened by Batman or whatever, and he's like, trying to, you know, he's pissed off at Batman to say the least. Anyways, Batman gets thrown around a couple times, and then there's the little joke. Yep, something's definitely bleeding. Something's bleeding. This is not freaking the Avengers. And this is not freaking. It was taking itself seriously in the previous Zack Snyder movies. And this supposedly being a Zack Snyder movie, all of a sudden is not taking itself seriously, and it's like, it's doing a disservice to itself. Batman, yeah, he had a change of heart and has remorse that he's become a little more well, less than exemplary or jaded and cynical, and he's become crueler and more. He's just lost his way. Okay, but to do an about face so quickly and almost be non-recognizable is ridiculous. All right, fine. He does an about face where he's back to being on his um, on his dean. I think that's what my sister would say, but on his path. Okay, why is he making corny jokes that you see in a, a stereotypical superhero movie? This is not supposed to be a stereotypical superhero movie. This is highbrow superhero movies. And I mean, people might think that Zack Snyder is pretentious or haughty, but he's not. He actually takes the material seriously and asks serious questions